Hello and welcome to The Chase, Zimbabwe's premier current affairs program. I'm Ibn Mabunda and we're coming to you from Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. Now, the Gaza Strip conflict dates back to 2008 when Israel launched its first attack on Palestine after Hamas took over in 2006. The war is said to have claimed tens of thousands of lives and displaced millions. Israel launched 4 sustained military assaults on Gaza again in 2012, 2014 and 2021. Homes, schools and office buildings were destroyed. This year, thousands of rockets have rained down on Israel. The country has been relying once again on their Iron Dome system to protect its citizens, but the sophisticated defense system has not been able to intercept every attack by Hamas. The war has been described by scholars as complicated and deadlocked, with both sides pulling the victim card. Our topic tonight is Israel-Palestine conflict and insight. And to help us unpack this tonight, I will be joined by His Excellency Tamar Al-Masri, the Palestinian ambassador to Zimbabwe, live on The Chase. Welcome back to The Chase, Zimbabwe's premier current affairs program. I'm Ibn Mabunda and we're coming to you from Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. Now, I am joined now in the studio by His Excellency Tamar Al-Masri, the Palestinian ambassador to Zimbabwe. Hello, sir, and welcome to The Chase.
Thank you.
Now, our topic tonight is Israel-Palestine conflict and the insight. Note that all views expressed on The Chase are those of our guests and do not reflect the views of Zimpapers 1980 Limited or those of ZTN Prime. To our viewers watching ZTN Prime, please join the discussion via social media handles at Zimpapers TV Network as well as at ZTN Prime. Now, to cut to the chase, beginning with the subject, if you may please provide us with a detailed background with regards to this particular conflict as well as the latest updates as they are unfolding.
Okay, first of all, I want to correct some information in your introduction. When you introduced the conflict now as Israel has Dome Rock and a state, then Hamas sent the rockets as the beginning, I think that it's totally unjust. And if you want to speak, we are talking about Hamas as one of the main pillars of the Palestinian national movements. So Hamas, part of the Palestinian people. Maybe we have some differentiation inside politically, but it doesn't mean that in this time we say that it's Hamas, not the Palestinians, because all the Palestinian people under the Israeli attack. And we should mention, if I want to correct, that the Israeli apartheid state occupy our homeland and they have the most extremist government from the establishment of the newborn Israel in 1948 that threatened many times that they will delete the Palestinian people. And even we have the Minister of Finance of Israel in Israel, and at the same time the alternative minister of what's so-called defense. He announced from Paris that there is no Palestinian people. We don't see them. Even the Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, he said that we will delete them. And according to our ideology, the Arabs and the Africans should be servants for us and the slaves.
Right.
So when we talk about the beginning, it wasn't peace. Then the Palestinians send rockets. Israel killed from the beginning of 2023 300 Palestinians in West Bank. And they Judaize Jerusalem. They attack our holy sites for both Muslims and the Christians. and they try to attack the Palestinian churches in Jerusalem. We warn them many times, please control your extremist leaders. And even we warned the international community. We urged America and the European Union, please try to interfere, control them. They are guiding us for religious war. Nobody controlled them. And when they killed our people all the time, nobody condemned. I am not sure that in the 2023 there is a classification between the human being. If you killed me, if you killed my family, it's normal. Sometimes we hear from Americans that they express their concern. But if any Israeli injured, just injured, they condemned strongly. I think the double standards is another factor of the current situation that we have.
Right. Now, you have pretty much laid that particular foundation. Now, I'm sure one of the key questions in the minds of many is perhaps who is Hamas? Who are they? What is it? And most importantly, what is the relationship between Hamas and the Palestinian government?
Okay. Let's speak openly that we have in Palestine from the beginning of, or from the firstborn of the Palestinian national movements, a lot of political parties. They are under, all of them, under the PLO, Palestine Liberation Organization. Fatah movement, the main pillar of PLO, established in 1965. Hamas established in 1987, so it's almost about 36 years, Hamas, and even the Islamic Jihad. We are under the National Palestinian Movement, the umbrella. Okay, we have differentiation, but in front the Israeli aggression, the Israeli occupation, we are united, 100%. And even we had in 2006 election, Hamas won. Then the Americans, Israelis, and some of the European countries put or imposed siege against the Palestinians because they punished us because we choose Hamas, or our people. Actually, I am PLO. Before I became a diplomat, okay, I'm from the national movement. But it doesn't mean that when you insist in democracy, you punish people because they choose. So I think the Americans were one of the main, the unstable situation that we reach now.
Right. I want to take you up on the subject of Hamas. It is, of course, allegedly, I wish to stress, part of a regional alliance that also includes Iran, Syria, and the group Hezbollah in Lebanon, which, of course, opposes U.S. policies towards the Middle East as well as Israel. Now, where does Palestine stand in this particular conflict, taking into consideration claimed by Hamas that they are pro-Palestine?
Brother, I'm so sorry. I think it's Western propaganda, Israeli propaganda. We had from the 2006 6 wars. The Israeli apartheid occupation attacked Gaza in 2006. They attacked Gaza in 2008 and 9. Attacked Gaza in 2012. Attacked Gaza in 2014. Attacked Gaza in 2021. And this is the 6th attack. Hezbollah didn't interfere. Iran didn't interfere. Nobody interfered. They try the propaganda just when they want to devilize somebody. They say that we are resisting because our country is occupied. Palestine, the main reason I want you to ask me about why did you reach here? It's very important question because Palestine under the occupation, Palestine occupied and actually created by Britain and America. They imported the Israeli citizens. Israel, by the way, it established in 1948. It's a new country. And they came from 120 countries in the world. They speak 80 languages, 80 languages. They belong to 78 origins, nations. They came to my country. They steal it. They claim that it's the promised land for Jews. So when they speak on behalf of Almighty Allah, of Almighty God, they think that, and it's a myth, totally myth, because the founders, it's very important, the founders of Israel, the founders like Herzl, the father of Zionism, like David Ben-Gurion, the first Israeli prime minister, like Chaim Weizmann, the first Israeli president, all of them were atheists. They don't believe in any religion, but they don't believe in God, but they believe that God gave them Palestine as homeland. And by the way, in the Zionism project, when they started, they said that we should establish, after the discrimination that they founded in Europe against the Jews, we should establish a state, our own state. And that it was in Bâle conference in 1896 or 97 in Switzerland. They announced that we should have a country, and they opened them up. And by the way, you can Google it. They chose four countries or 4 areas. First one, Argentina. Second one, Palestine. Third one, Uganda. Fourth one, Sinai. So they want to stay. Then when they choose, and even they removed the Palestine from their table. Later on, they come back when the initialization, or when the signs of the first war come, and the expectation of the collapsing of the Ottoman Empire that controlled Palestine at that time. So they choose Palestine. So what they claim later, it's a myth. You should ask me about this. But nowadays, actually, the Israeli propaganda, the American propaganda. Yesterday, for example, Joseph Biden, the American president, he claimed that he said that I saw, it's in video, I saw 40 Israeli babies were slaughtered, and there is no...
Right. We'll make reference to some of those elements. But for now, I want to draw your attention. Of course, you gave that historical background, as well as also the element of religion, which, of course, was right at the core of our subjects of orientation in this conversation. Now, in an interview a few nights ago, you also said that the Israeli government looks at Arabs in Africa as inferior groups. Can you shed more light on this and why?
Yes, unfortunately, according to their ideology, they think that it's Jewish teachings. But I say no. The real Jews, they don't believe in that. For example, we have in Palestine, we have Jewish community. They are 600 up to 700 persons, and they live in Gerizim mountain in Nablus. They are totally Palestinians, and even they are represented in our parliament by member, according to our constitution. So the religious war, it wasn't in Palestine before, but they believe, according to the extremists, they believe that they are the selected people from Almighty Allah, from the God. And they believe, according to they are very extremist, they believe that everybody should be servants for them, according to their ideology. And they think that, even, by the way, in their real teachings, they don't respect, they feel that the superiority is for them and the other nations under them. But the lowest are the Arabs and Africans. Even the African, the Jewish the Jewish African community. For example, we are witness for a lot of demonstrations from the black Jews against the discrimination in Israel.
Right, I have to jump in there. Of course, the conversation continues. We are looking at the conflict, of course, between Palestine and the nation of Israel. Now, the chase will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to the Mint. I'm Andy Hodges. This is ZTN Prime, broadcasting to you.
So when COVID came,
Welcome back. You're watching The Mint live on ZTN Prime. I'm Ibn Mabunda.
It is a real puzzle how crystal meth has made its way into communities and continues to ravage the youth. This is where it all begins. Is enough focus being put on mental health?
You are watching The Chase on ZTN Prime as we broadcast to you from Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. I'm Ibn Mabunda. Our subject tonight is we are looking at the conflict between Israel as well as Palestine. And of course, we have got in studio the ambassador of Palestine to Zimbabwe as we continue our conversation. Now, Ambassador, let us talk about the casualties in this war. It is reported that more than 900 people have been killed, about 150 were taken as hostages, and 1,500 individuals injured from the Israel side. And from the Hamas side, more than 3,000 people, including 1,000 militants, have been killed and thousands injured since October the 7th. Now, in a statement, Hamas allegedly said that they are targeting civilians, not settlers. First, I want to know, from your perspective, the difference between the settlers and the civilians in this regard.
Okay, I'm so sorry to say that what you mentioned now, it's the Western and the Israeli propaganda. And I know that you are not close from our homeland just to understand the details, and I thank you because you try to ask and to clarify, to get the...
Right,
yes.
That's the purpose of the conversation.
Yes. First of all, we have in Israel 7,000 hostages, prisoners. Some of them children and babies a few months with their mothers in the Israeli jails. 7,000. Some of our prisoners, and they are freedom fighters, Israel take them to the trial, to the court, and judge that you should spend 1,030 years. It's against the logic. Just look how they humiliate our humanity. It's very important. Israel, until now, until this moment, they arrest more than 2,000 Palestinians without any accusation. They say that they call them administrative prisoners. They say that you are here. Hamas, it wasn't the first Palestinian political movement that tried to arrest soldiers to swap them. So when you say that they hostages, they are not hostages. they are prisoners. And most of them, Hamas, not Hamas, a lot of all the Palestinian parties enter, but Israel want to say, like, look, Hamas. It is not Hamas. It's very important just to clarify these facts. Israel now announce that, look, Hamas take hostages. They are not hostages. Most of them are soldiers. But Israel shy to say that all their soldiers, all their camps collapse in 25 minutes because their military reputation. I'm not saying that we should arrest this and we should take hostages. No, I think the Palestinian prisoners should be released and the Israelis should be released, and we should speak about this in table.
Right.
But to say release my citizens and I will keep your citizens, it is not fair.
Right. Now, which then brings us to the next subject.
And by the way, there is something very important.
Right.
Israel didn't kill 900 from Hamas. The people from the freedom fighters from Hamas, they are less than 3% from the people who killed. Israel target the civilians in Palestine. And I want you to go back to the United Nations statistics. The Israeli propaganda with the American propaganda, they try to devilize us. But I am telling you, until this moment, now you watch me every minute. Just I look to my mobile because I want the update of our victims. Until this moment, we have 1,500 victims. 490 of them are children, less than 16 years. Until this moment, 280 are women. Most of them are mothers. It's very important, brother, because
fair enough. We are running out of time. The important question is, what then is the antidote? How do we solve this very crisis?
Brother,
in just 1 minute.
Okay, excuse me. When you offer these facts, I say that it is not true, because it's Israeli and American propaganda.
Right.
Now we should clarify that we are under genocide. They cut electricity from Gaza Strip. No electricity, no water. They attack hospitals. Today the UN announced that they lost 11 workers in the UN, 11 employees. Our hospitals, the first Palestinian victim was from the Palestinian medical team. They attack our hospital, our ambulances. Now we have 12 Palestinian employees who are the ambulances officers. They were killed by the Israeli airstrikes. We have until this moment 290,000 Palestinian displaced from their homes. They destroyed 50,000 Palestinian homes, partly and completely. We should be aware. And by the way, I want to mention something very important. I am so sorry, brother. Just give me the chance or the opportunity to clarify the facts. I will answer you.
Sure.
If
we
you
are running
want
out
to
of
follow,
time,
if you want to
make your
follow the
responses
American propaganda and the British propaganda, because now they follow Israelis totally 100%. We will consider, according to their classification, Nelson Mandela, who was a freedom fighter, as terrorist. And all the Zimbabwean freedom fighters who were fighting the South Rhodesia regime before 1980, according to their view, they were terrorists. And now we are at the same stage. They accuse us that we are terrorists, but nobody speak about the occupation. Now from the Palestinian homeland, we control less than 8%. When we signed the Oslo Accord just to go for two-state solution, the Israeli themselves assassinated the Israeli prime minister who signed the peace the peace the
Right.
peace agreement
Now,
with Yasser
Ambassador,
Arafat and Yitzhak Rabin in 1995.
we have run out of time.
Then they killed Yasser Arafat.
And unfortunately, we have to cut the program short. Of course, there will be a part 2 to this conversation that will be anchored by Faith Nyaude, one of our anchors here at ZTN Prime. Let us know your thoughts on our social media handles at Zim Papers TV Network as well as at ZTN Prime. Your thoughts and your views are important to us. Once again, Ambassador, thank you for joining us on The Chase. I'm Ibn Mabunda. Thank you for watching and have a good evening.